Hello, everybody. My name is Eric Lanus, and today I'll be discussing the elderly and disaster. And specifically, I wanted to talk about what to do uh, before, during, and after a disaster, and what steps need to be taken to ensure the safety of the elderly. So, first, I want to start with before. And after researching, I found that the first step to take is to absolutely register online with FEMA. And the reason for this being is because it networks you with them, so they know exactly where you're at and what problems you may have that they can help with. So, say you live in the out in the bayou, and you have nobody to come get you, but if you register online, they will know where you are to send people out to check on you. And not only this, they'll know if you have mobility issues or a disease or anything that can hamper your evacuation and their response. And that'd be the first step to take for before disaster strikes for an elderly person. And the other is to prepare. And when I say prepare, I mean knowing where to go when the time comes, having an emergency kit set up, and just practicing what to do in a certain situation. And I think that's huge for the elderly because, they're used to their everyday lives being so normal and mundane, and suddenly a disaster comes and just throws it all off. And they won't be prepared. But if they take steps before, then they will know how to respond to such a disaster. And so those are just two easy steps to take, really simple, before disaster for the elderly. And let's move on to during disaster. The most important thing, I think, for the elderly to do is to be with someone during a disaster. Being alone helps no one in that situation, and having someone there to help you out with whatever you need is vital. And not only this, if it's a younger person, that's even better because they might have more opportunities to check the media or call people, emergency protocol, and anything like that. And so having someone there with you is important during a storm or disaster. And media, especially, following media, they'll tell you where to go and what to do. And I know that's hard for an elderly person to come across, but that's why being with someone is so helpful, and knowing where to go and what to do through the media uh, is sure to help you in a disaster. And finally, after the stress that one may have during a disaster, especially an elderly person, could be huge. It could change their entire life. So, meeting with doctors, going to therapy, doing all that stuff is important for your psychological health and to just get you back to being a citizen again. And so, these are just few steps to take for the elderly, and FEMA has all kinds of protocol and whatnot to deal with the elderly. So, registering for them is probably the number one most important thing to do during a disaster if you're an elderly person. But I hope that these points will help you out in the future if you need them. And yes, stay prepared, be ready. Thank you.